Important Podcast.
Welcome back to another amazing, exciting Are you aroused?
Beer, beer, beer.
Titillating, fucking boner enthusiast. I mean, you know what I'm saying. You're hard. Welcome back to the We Important Podcast.
Hard.
I'm your host, Q, and this is my co-host, Harry. What, you want to say something?
No, I'll say I'm pitching a tent, but go ahead.
Okay, great. And this episode is going to be fucking sick. Today, we have the most important person in the fucking world, Wavy Duder.
I'm aroused right now.
You already know. Everybody already knew. That's what we do here. We turn you on.
What's up, guys?
What's up, man? How you doing today?
Life is good. Today was a busy day, but life is great.
Tell us about your day. Like, I feel like we don't take the time. I feel like the most important question is always, how are you?
Yeah.
And what did you do
People
today?
forget to ask that, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I care.
Yeah, I appreciate you caring.
I care.
Day starts with a smoothie and walking the dog, and then shower, email, studio. That's it.
Just like that.
That's my day.
What's in that smoothie?
Today was pineapple, mango, blueberry. There's a little bit of Greek yogurt.
Are you getting bougie?
Yeah, just something slight. I ran out of turmeric today, so I was kind of salty about that. But whatever, is what it is.
One thing I've been thinking of getting into is like essential oils in my morning.
Oh, yeah,
I'm just too lazy to do the smoothies, man.
Wait, what are you doing with essential oils in the morning?
I was looking it up, so I was gonna do lavender on the face, on the wrist for scent, ones to keep you
that.
awake. Like my biggest thing is I quit coffee, right? Because like
me too.
When I was going through some shit in my life, I leaned on coffee as a crutch.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was getting myself up in the morning because I was dragging my feet and depressed, or just like middle of the day, I'm bored and we drink some caffeine.
Mm-hmm.
So I like just to
middle of the day,
dude, just bored. Just like, dude, I was going through some shit.
Well, that's a red flag, so I'm glad you stopped.
So it's like, I told myself like 2 months ago, I was like, I'm just going to fucking quit. See, just to prove to myself I can do this. Dog, that shit fucking sucked.
Yeah,
it'd be like 2 p.m. I'd be falling asleep in my hands, couldn't keep awake.
Yeah.
I'd have the black circles under my eyes.
Yep.
I didn't want to do certain shit after work. That 9 to 5 would make me be like, bro, I don't want to go wrestle. I don't want to go climb. I don't want to go work out. But eventually, after about 33 days, they say it's the typical amount of time you need to quit a bad habit. Once you get past 33 days, they say you feel solid. So it's like, okay, I'll get to 33 fucking days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to see how this feels. I got to 33. Well, before I got to 33, I was already waking up in the morning energized. Like back when I was wrestling again, drinking cold water in the morning. That made me feel a lot better. But no matter what, I'd always hit this wall midday, and I couldn't figure out how to get rid of it.
Yeah, the crash, man.
Have you figured something out?
Drink coffee. Drink coffee.
That's it.
I broke today,
Relapse.
dude.
Relapse.
I fucking
Coffee. My man.
When you have it when it's getting bad,
dude, I relapsed.
just relapse.
That's why we're actually here. This is an intervention.
This is an intervention
for
for
you.
you.
Yeah. We found your Maxwell's
I'm cracked out.
in the.
Found your Maxwell's. Oh my God, he's like freebasing Maxwell in the corner back there. Yeah. All right, well, fuck.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Thanks for that. Thanks for entertaining that question.
Much needed.
Did you answer? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm mentally good. I think I'm the best version of myself this past year than I've ever been before. Mentally, physically. Good. Well, not physically. I used to be a lot skinnier back in high school, but I'm getting there. I'm filling it out.
That's
you
it.
Know what I'm
That's
saying?
all
I'm filling it out.
That's all it is.
But yeah, I feel good. A lot of things happening in my life that are amazing, and I'm super blessed for. And yeah, things are good.
Good. Hopefully, we don't ruin that.
No,
this good
with this
shit you got going on. Hopefully, we don't fuck it up. But let's officially get into the show. Let's get into the interview here.
Yeah, yeah.
If that's what we're doing,
fire away.
You know, our first question is always. Go ahead, Harry, and ask that first question.
Well, thanks for introducing me. It's gonna be what makes you important.
Oh man, it's such a tricky one because I don't like to talk about myself. You can ask anybody, a lot of people that I know and my peers, and I don't think to myself that I'm super important, but I also think that there's things that I bring to the table that in the city Cleveland in the music industry, at least, and stuff like that I definitely feel important a little bit.
Let me cut you off then, Wavy, because I'm going to be honest with you. For you coming on to our episode, you truly are the most important person. So I kind of want you to tote it. But
he said you're not taking that modest bullshit.
But look, like,
humble.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you have left an impact, whether it's small or large. And you're very humble where it's like, you're not finished yet. You want to keep doing more.
Yeah.
We got to talk a little bit behind the scenes before this. But like, no, real shit, man. Like if somebody was handed your business card, what would it say? What makes you important? What's your title?
Yeah, so like,
mover and shaker.
Ooh,
yeah.
I
just get shit done, man. I just, if we're gonna rip away the humbleness for a second,
please do.
It's I know what I bring to the table when it comes to variety in music and genre chasing, and I'm always finding the next big thing and trying to do it. And there's a lot of people humbly that I see that try to, mimic it and do what they do, and it's a great feeling knowing that, because it means I'm doing something,
It's validated.
But honestly, man, as far as important, I'm important to myself.
That's it.
And that's about it. If I'm not important to anybody else, I'm okay with it as long as I am good with me, and I'm cool with that.
Interesting take.
Yeah.
So for the audience, let's give them the nitty gritty details of it all. So, like Harry was saying, if you had a business card, what, for the general audience who, the lamest fan that doesn't know, what does that say? What is your title? What do you
producer,
actually do?
Music producer, business manager, entrepreneur, mogul, just things like that.
So now tell us a little bit about how this all started. Where did you get into music production? Where did you get into becoming a mogul? Creating who you are today.
Or where'd you get the eye for gold?
Where did it all start?
I think I didn't know I wanted to be a full-time producer until I literally just fell into like using a program called Reason. And I was just fucking around with it, man. I wasn't doing it as a job. I was, at that time I was on, which tour was that? I was on.
What year is it?
It's about 2014.
Okay.
It was going into what would be my first tour ever, which I was a stage manager for Machine Gun Kelly on the Road Trippin' tour. And on my free time, I would fuck around with beats, and I wasn't taking it serious. It's something I wanted to do. I was a drummer at heart. I always drummed my whole life.
Okay.
So I never really thought that there was a career out of it, until, my peers on the road or peers at home when I played music back, they're like, yo, man, this is actually, super fire. So I was just like, all right, well, on stuff like that, I think that I was like, I could take this to another level. Let me get serious a little bit with this, So when I got home off tour, that one tour, I was like, okay, well, let me buy a setup, buy a studio. And that's when it all started to, I was like, all my free time was devoted into it. Just like playing drums again. When you play drums, and we talked about this off air about your 10,000 hours, there wasn't that back then. It was just go until you figure it out, And I think with me, it was, I get obsessive. I have an addictive personality.
Okay.
So when I find something that makes me feel something, I kind of go with it, whether it's the gym or relationships or a sound pack or whatever it is that makes you feel something. And I just went with it. And this was one of those things. I just went with it and started giving out beats for free. Then I started charging $20, and then it was like a couple of my homies were like, yo, I got you.
So I feel like this question may be answered within.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
How'd you figure out the value within your beats? But also, what was that aha moment that was like, oh shit, I actually have a career in this. Let me chase this more. Let me actually devote this full time.
I think I would have to say hanging out with my peers from the tour and like seeing them successful in music and like knowing that it's in reach and being a part of it in a different way. I wasn't a part of it musically. I was a part of it as a job.
Okay.
But seeing what can come with a little hard work and effort was like, okay, there is something there. on the other end. So I feel like that was an aha moment coming home from that. Like, let me just try to make some music and figure it out. Once I sold my first beat for like $100, this was like maybe like end of 2015.
So it
in,
was,
in a year.
It was practically gold, that $100 bill for that.
Yeah, it was like, yo, what? He was like, yeah, I got you. Here's $100. I was like, I didn't know what royalty splits were, publishing. I didn't know any of that. I was like, yo,
shit.
Let me just get this bag real quick.
Yeah, that's
like,
all you think about, right?
I was like, shit, I could do this again. Then I hit another homie, and you hit another homie, and then, it's just having confidence in yourself and knowing that you have some sort of product. Mm-hmm. Whether it's good or not, it's not up to you, really. It's up to other people.
Interesting. What gave you the ear for music? How'd you pick up the sticks? How'd you fall into music?
My mom bought me my first drum set. Rest in peace, Ma Dukes. She bought me my first kit when I think I had this little Mickey Mouse kit when I want to say 6. If my brother's watching on live or whatever, I don't hurt me on that. But I think it was around 5 or 6. Okay. And just banging on that, and then I broke that, played on pots and pans, and then she bought me my first real kit when I was in 5th grade.
Nice.
And then me and my brother's a guitar player. Shout out JD Cleveland. That's my guy. Me and him have been playing music in the basement since we were small. And now we're both giants. He's taller than me. He's my little brother. But yeah, me and him would just, oh shit, what's that new Incubus song that just came out? Or play this Deftones song, or let's run through the Limp Bizkit album, or you know.
I was about to ask you what bands.
That's pretty much what it was for me. It was, Limp Bizkit, Korn, Deftones is one of my favorite bands. White Pony by Deftones pretty much changed my life, my perspective on music.
I love that.
It's a great album. If you haven't heard it, please.
I love when people can cite a specific thing that, like, that's how you know it's real. Like, you really fuck with that shit.
I found myself in that album. I was walking home from Memorial Junior High, which we talked about earlier. Walking home from school and like listening to that album on my Walkman or on my CD player was one of those things where I was just like, yo, this album the scenery and figuring out that, what you are as a teen compared to what's in the future as an adult, you kind of like, it transforms you. And that album was the soundtrack for that for me.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, I know we don't want to talk about the age thing, but it's like, yo, like when you're in junior high, it's like there's no freaking Instagram, there's no social media to describe how you should be as a teenager. No. You have to just figure it out. And music, if a lot of younger people don't realize this, but music was the outlet that allowed people to be creative in their mind and then express themselves. Like, people are now a lot more tapped in with the clothing they wear, the eyeliner they put on, all the things that kind of describe them. Mm-hmm. But really back in like the early 2000s, that like 1995 to 2008 era, dude, it's just, you had to fall in love with music and figure out what was describing you. Put posters on your wall. Create a MySpace page, but it wasn't you couldn't tap into it like you can now. Yeah,
it was heavily influenced by magazines and blogs, going to buy CDs, like the experience at a CD shop. And
it's so much because you can just blow up off one TikTok and you're gonna get a million views, but like back then it's like you had to pass CDs out. Me and Q talked about it before, I think on season 2, where like going platinum back then was really fucking insane.
Because it was physical copies. It was different.
Like Wayne going platinum in a week with the Carter 3 was like astronomical. Like,
unheard of.
Man, I love that fucking.
Yeah. It was a different world. You were just paying it. Like, I had TRL, which is Total Request Live on MTV, and watching that. And
was it Carson?
Carson Daly.
Carson Daly.
Yeah. And then, watching, I think American Idol just started back then, and like stuff like that. Like, you didn't have all of this stuff that you have now. You didn't have accessibility at one click. You didn't have that, so you just had to figure out your own lane and ride with it. And I feel like it was a little bit more pure in ways. Yeah, because people were organically forced to figure it out, and now you're pushed into a narrative sometimes with how it is.
We got a lot of areas to go in here.
Yeah.
I want to jump back real quick.
Go ahead.
How did you get that stagehand job? For everybody who's like, feels like they can't get opportunities. Was that just like, was like luck? Did that fall in your lap? Did you work to get that? Because you said that was kind of the platform you jumped off of to figure out everything.
It was just being in the right place at the right time at a lot of moments, and having mutual friends who believed in you. And when it came time to get work done, they called your name. And, you know, I expressed interest at an early pivotal moment. And
I want to comment on that. Expressing interest, showing that you're interested in something. Yeah, I think I can speak for myself. Something like that. There's times where I feel uncomfortable about taking advantage of an opportunity, depending on the opportunity, the situation, the people involved. Okay. Sometimes you feel you might love that thing, you might want that thing more than anything, but for whatever reason, you can't get out of your own way and express that. Express how much you want it, or express what it means to you. Because you sound, I think for me at least, and this is like when I'm younger, it was like out of a fear of like sounding like everybody else. When you go up to fucking this big name or that big name and you say, I'm your biggest fan, everybody says that. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, so what is your advice on that? Like showing interest. Is there a way that you found success? Like shooting your shot, kind of? Yeah, exactly.
Like, you just got to be persistent and be genuine. That's the two things I could tell you. And most of all of my relationships are built on a general friendship there, or a general interest in more than just what you can do for me. Right. Like anybody can contest this that's in my circle, it's caring enough to go outside. I'm not going to hit you up. Like I have friends that are on tour right now that I don't hit up just when I need tickets to the show, or just when they're in town, or just when something cool happens. I'm the guy that's going to hit you and say, yo, bro, just tapping in, or happy Thanksgiving, or how's your kids, or how's the wife, or how's the girlfriend? Like, and I genuinely care. I'm not doing that with any back end motives. I'm doing that because you're authentic. It's there. Exactly. It's authentic, and I genuinely care. But when people say their circle's small, it's really because some people don't have time to care about too many people.
Dude, I've always felt like people will be like, I'll tell people like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to my friend's place. I'm gonna hang out with my friends. People nowadays, especially when you're in the office mindset, they go, oh, you have friends? I only got like one or two. They always keep their circles closed. But I think it really comes down to what type of friend are you? Yeah. And one thing Q really got me into in the last year too, especially for guys, I think you should do this more, is like just check up on your homie with a wellness check. Tap in, like you said. Like Q literally just send a message. That is it. He just goes, wellness check. I'm like, what? And it's like, how are you doing, dude? Haven't talked to you in a minute. And whether it's and it's based on your relationship, right? And with whether it's once a day, once a week, once a month, or once a year, if somebody's just checking in to check in, I think it needs to be appreciative. Obviously you can keep them at a distance based on how they're doing it, but don't get in your own head that they have motives to it. I mean, knock on wood, can't speak on it, but like, just be genuine. I really think that's important to show, especially that somebody cares about you besides your family.
Care more. Just care more.
Care more.
Homies have more. Homies have feelings too.
It's really easy to care. Like,
I think that's
whether it's a guy I met last week at the convenience store, and we're in line, and some mutual interest, and we exchange numbers, and I can help him do something, or to the movie star that I met in Hollywood that is whatever. Both people are the same people. They're just humans. People lose sight that people are humans. People are treating people as if society puts people on pedestals, and it's your job to, if you want to be authentic, it's your job as a person to weed through that and figure out your way through that. Like, okay, I'm not going to treat somebody differently because they're on the new Netflix special. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a human. I respect you. Respect me. And that's it. It's caring enough to, you need to care about yourself enough to realize that,
I like that.
That's why a lot of people go, how do you have these conversations with these people who are celebrities? I'm like, because they're real people.
Right. Everybody's a
They're
real person.
human people.
We all shit and eat and cry.
People have feelings and go through shit just because they're on stage or in a movie or on set or whatever it is, on the field, whatever it is. It doesn't mean they don't go through shit or they don't want to be treated as if, like, anybody can treat somebody as a celebrity, but don't forget someone is human. That's all I ask going forward for people. I just try to care more.
Care more.
Care more.
Human lives matter.
Human lives matter. That's it.
That's it.
Remind me of my kindergarten teacher. It's like, treat people how you want to be treated.
And honestly, it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
It was never a hoax. It was never blowing smoke.
It never got more complicated
Whoever
than
created that, God bless, because we need it more.
Keep your hands and feet to yourself. No grabbing ass.
That's it. Don't kick nobody in the throat.
Anyways, so let's take us through your career, and because I think there's a couple points I want to make sure we hit as we navigate.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Do you want me to? Go ahead. I'll go off what you guys.
Well, I want you to just take us through from that big aha moment once things started to go for you, and once you got all your own equipment and everything. Start us off there, and talk to me about. We talked about a little bit about social media. Talk to me about with that changing, that climate changing.
Yeah.
How you navigated that
Networking
as things got more advanced, the technology got more advanced, things like that.
Putting in the time, networking, being at studio sessions, being at shows, connecting with artists on a face-to-face level.
That always trumped whatever was going on the internet.
Yeah, I never wanted to be at that time. There was, type beat producers at the time that were making beats on YouTube, and you could always find their beats on YouTube. And I think at that point, I don't think we could convert YouTube to MP3 at that point, but people could still rip you off on that stuff. And I always told myself I never wanted to be a guy who had his music on the internet, and still to this day, 10 years into my career, I still haven't put my music online yet.
Dude, we were doing our research, iTunes, Spotify. I tried going through every fucking avenue.
I won't. There's songs I've done, and I've done a couple collaborations over the last couple of years with other artists. There's one on there with Audie Ray.
Shout out to
that we have Audie Ray, the guy. Shout out Invasion
Studios. What's up?
I did a collab with him called Agassi, and that was one of the first times I really, wanted to do a collab. I was like, yo, this record's fire. Let's just put this out together. He was just like, yo, let's get it. But. Going back to networking though, man, starting from the beginning, like, you just had to be there. There was no DMing at the, like DMing in 2015 is not what DMing is now in 2023.
Right.
Okay.
Like, it's not the same. No one's checking their DMs to network. And like, I didn't know what that was, how that could help me until like maybe 2018, 2019.
Right. So back then you kind of had no choice but to be outside and be in shit.
And you should. And I encourage more people to do that now.
Today. Yeah. So I was saying, like, with that changing, back then you couldn't DM. And then, fast forward 5-10 years and, you can DM people. You could be in different parts of the world and, have that instant communication, connection, sharing shit. How did that change your approach or your tactics when it came to networking or it came to putting things out or being present?
I don't think it changed my tactics. It's just I'm not afraid to learn.
Yeah,
like, I'm not afraid to pick up something and figure it out and start from scratch. I'm not afraid. A lot of people these days try to cut corners, and I'm noticing that a lot with obviously how easy it is to go viral and everybody just following the same methods. No one's creating their new methods to get their stuff heard. So for me, I had to adjust, and I would just sit there and DM people or see what bands are coming in town, DM them and, hey, I love this song. Just wanted to say I'll be at the show. And then that's it, And then eventually that could turn into, damn, you did this record, or damn, you did that record, or it's like, yeah, but I'm genuinely just a fan. I'm here on some humble shit. Like, I don't, you got to go into it. I'm not there to get a record. I'm there to enjoy the music. And if we happen to meet organically, then that will happen.
Are you a man of faith? Like, fate, I guess, is the other way to put it too. Is like,
religious, like,
do you think God had a plan for you to meet these certain people all along?
there's no other way to explain some of the stuff that's happened in my life.
Got an example?
I mean, I hate to go back to it because I know that I hate talking about myself, but
bro, please.
I think that moment where I woke up that day and that song went viral, that MGK song that I was produced on, I didn't know it was coming out. I never knew. You know, I explained this in another interview, and I'll touch up on it right here for you guys. This was off of a text message at 3 a.m. of, you know, hey, do you still have that record? Yeah, I got it. Type stuff, and sent it over, and never heard anything back from it. I literally woke up one morning with literally 100 missed calls, and a song that I thought was never coming out that I did 5 years prior. Whatever surface.
For those that don't know, can you say the name of the song?
Yeah, it's In These Walls by Machine Gun Kelly. So we started that record. The record was supposed to be out on General Admission.
Shout out to the album, because
that album's crazy. I know. I saw the other days on TikTok randomly, real quick, some guy named their favorite albums, and like
he said he dropped General Admission.
He did, and I was like, yo, I feel you, my guy. Like he did an order. He did an order of like how he likes the albums, and literally his top 3 were like my top 3, and I was like, yes, my guy.
Fuck with it.
It doesn't get as much love as it should. That was a great album,
for sure.
But
he rapped his ass off.
yeah, it was written for that. It was picked up for that album. It wasn't written for it. It was just a song that I'd started at our bass player's house at the time, who still plays bass for him today. Shout out bass. And I started it in his like dining room area. There was like a B room set up there, and I was fucking around with the sample from the band Paris, who I sampled on it. And we had I don't know what happened. I literally pulled up the song. Fast forward like 2 weeks later, I pulled up the song in LA, and Kels was like, yo, that's fire. Let's go get a smoothie, come back, and we'll write this. Went, got a smoothie, came back, wrote it. And he wrote
You're a big
the lyrics.
smoothie dude.
Yeah, no, I think I get some of that from them. But
from being out.
Yeah. Juicing smoothies, all that wellness stuff, that you know.
Okay. I was just trying to find a connection there.
Yeah, we came back and he wrote what is most of the verses and chorus, and then I flew home, and Baze and Slim finished it, and that was the rap. And then obviously fast forward, it never came out in General Admission because the sample I used never got cleared.
Got it.
So they never cleared it.
So that's what the delay was about.
Yeah. And I could speak on this now. When it was coming out, I couldn't really speak on it because I didn't know what legal terminology was going on or what was behind the scenes. I never get too far into that stuff. But now, 3 years after it drops, I can say, you know, that's why it didn't come out in 2015. But it works out, and it went viral at a time where everybody was at home and there was a million things on the internet that you could watch, and we were trending #1 worldwide on all of YouTube, on any genre, gaming, movies, trailers, videos, whatever it was.
I remember tuning in. He did like 19 days of just doing music on live. He'd always
lockdown sessions.
Yeah, the lockdown sessions.
Yeah. That's what this was a part of. Yeah,
some fire chicken on that. That Misery Business cover was insane.
I think that was one of the ones right before mine, and I think that was one of my favorites. I'm a big Paramore fan.
We love Paramore.
Haley Williams, I love you so much.
You going to see them when they're here?
I've met them before, back when I was my Warped Tour days. You know, it was easy to meet people, meet your favorite artists at Warped Tour days. I missed that. Kevin Lyman, bring Warped Tour back, dude. Just, you know, here, I'll even give you something do a 3-day festival. That's it.
PSA, bring Warped Tour back.
Do a 3-day festival.
Can we, the Warped Tour revival?
Warped Tour.
The revival tour.
Or do one day. Do one day of all our Warped Tour favorite bands. I think
one day.
Dude,
bring it back, man.
Dude, but you'd have to create an age restriction because a lot of the potentially younger kids just wouldn't understand what Warped Tour culture was.
Course.
You don't
It's like party. It's like a party at your own risk type deal.
Oh,
you know,
for sure.
Dude,
yeah.
my
I feel like
buddies
that's
at
how
school.
Rolling Loud is too, though.
Dude, my buddies at
Literally
school
everything
literally
now.
told me that was the first place they saw titties.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, everybody was just like, no phones. Everybody was just, mosh pits were good mosh pits. Everybody was having a great time.
Man, I've had my fair share of mosh pits. Shout out Scotty Scoops. That's my cousin and my business partner in my vintage clothing company and
The
Drop Cleveland. Yeah,
We
my brother and my cousin all own it together. It was a family business that we started in 2020. Little side hustle during COVID to make money, and it turned into something that's
we love that.
pretty substantial. We got some big things coming this year. I'm super excited about that. So yeah, shout out.
For the people that know though,
Yeah.
or don't know, your hands aren't just dipped in music.
No. I'm in fashion and I have some things that I'm moving into. I have a big marketing company coming out this year. It's like a video, and I've never said this to anybody. It's the first time I'm saying this.
We employ an exclusive.
Yeah.
You already know.
I have a marketing company coming out this year that also does music videos, photos, PR, everything. It's all in one company. I have a couple people involved that are movers and shakers in the Cleveland scene and in the world. And that's coming this year. I'll announce that probably this spring. It's coming up. So we're almost there.
We love that.
Yeah. And then the Drop Cleveland, and then newly I'm getting my social content creator vibe on, and I just
we're
signed on
gonna
with
talk
from
about
Cleveland. Yeah.
We're definitely going to talk about that.
Yeah.
I think right before we talk about that,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to go back to producer Wavy.
Talk to me.
And I think I have two questions. First one,
Yes.
when you're making a beat or
Mhm.
something, are you thinking about who this is going to? Are you making things for people? Are people coming to you and say, I need this, and you're tailoring beats for them?
I do both.
Both.
So
Do you have a preferred way?
I like to just create, and then halfway through it, it's hard not to.
To like imagine somebody else?
Yes,
Got
it's
it.
hard not to. Like even with my file names, I'll say this sounds like Don Toliver, Travis Scott.
Got it.
BPM 140, key of C minor.
Mm.
Like that's what the beat's called. That's what
Well, I can hear that beat. I hear it right now.
It's and I also get hired to do tracks for people that I'm hired to make their sound or make my version of what their sound could sound like on a collaboration with me.
Now, how do you deal with
Mhm.
a possible negative person that doesn't like what you produced for them? They don't like that you technically put them in a box. Like, no, that's not what I want.
I'm all for it. Like
You're gonna work with them?
Yeah, so like most of the people that's outside of like if my manager hits me, shout out Armin, my guy, one of the best managers in the game. He'll send me some stuff all the time, and then it's like I have to tailor to that, and I pretty much at this point I'm on autopilot with it, you know. But there is occasional scenarios where with people that I find on my end, like locally, that I have an idea in my head of where I can go with you, and you are stuck in a situation of what you like, and we have to find a way to mesh that.
Interesting.
So I'm up for the negative feedback. It's not always unicorns and rainbows. Like you're gonna get a guy or a girl or a group that says, you know, it wasn't really for me. Cool. You know, here's your deposit back. Or let's work it out.
Yeah,
what do you hear?
Yeah.
Like I'm not.
Is there anything you
But
like
the business
about it at all?
tycoon in you is like, you know when to lay the track, you know when it's just bullshit and to let it go.
Yeah. No. Yeah. There's a moment where, you know, in this business and being a producer and selling your art in any sort of creative outlet, there's a moment where if someone's not happy with it, you need to make that right. And I think my business ethics in other ways of life have taught me in this way of life in music that you got to do good business no matter what. You know, the customer's always right, you know.
So when people started putting a dollar sign on your beats,
Mm-hmm.
did that make it more fun for you, or did that kind of suck the love out for you? It's like, oh, now it's turned into this business. I was doing it out of pure love, out of my fun time for hustling, and now it's I got to meet these criteria. I got to meet these expectations.
Well, I mean, you always love money, but at the same time, with what you're doing it for and your intentions behind it, there's been some crossroads where, you know, I'm blessed that my number of what I sell beats for is where it's at. And it also has its benefits to narrow it down to people who are serious, right, rather than just being a guy who, like, I don't sell leases. Like, people do beat leases and stuff on right. BeatStars, like $20 and 1,000 people get the same beat for $20. Like, I don't do that. If you get a beat from me, it's exclusive rights only. I do not.
That's the only way to do it.
Yeah, I don't do any of that.
Get your track outs, get your stems, get anything you need.
Exactly.
You know, get the whole shit, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
Pay for it all.
Yeah.
Own the shit. Own as much as you can of it. You know. Do the paperwork, right?
So with that, I would say that it's easier to navigate. Like you were saying, it's easier to navigate through that and see that if I get my price, which is what I'm worth, I make it happen, you know, by any means.
I think a lot of people do sell themselves short on self-worth. So to even hear you able to discover that, like, I think that's a big message to people. It's like, you do it out of pure love. Mm-hmm. You just try to push it. And eventually, if it's meant to be, it'll come true and you'll start to get money for it. But it should never be chasing the dollar, I think, at first.
No, your art will determine what you are worth. You can put a price tag on anything. And if people like your art enough, it doesn't matter what that price is. They're going to pay it.
Straight up.
Because they want the product.
We import podcasts.
They want the good products, too.
$5.99.
That's it. $5.99. Go pay that. That's it. With a biscuit.
Oh, shit. I'm pretty good with
Wait. Shut the fuck up. I had
You have a second producer question?
I did, yes.
I know. See, I'm ready.
My second producer question, and really, like, I mean, one of my food for thought, I suppose, is, you know, a lot of people believe that producers are exclusively beat makers. People, they think that's all that they do. I know from having my hands in music and things like that, that a producer is a very broad term. Mm-hmm. And that your job description is very, very wide and has a lot of shit going in. That can have a lot of shit involved in it.
Yeah, like, I'm hands-on start to finish from the whole entire record. It doesn't stop with me just making the beat.
Yeah.
I want to know,
like, I want to speak about that. What is
Yeah. Being a producer is there's a difference between, and I'll say this real candidly, and I'm going to be very honest with you guys right now. There's a difference between a beat maker and a producer. They're not the same thing. You know, I may make a beat as being a producer, but I'm seeing that track all the way through. And that's the difference between a beat maker could just send out beats and loops. I was just going through loops when you guys, before we started.
That's
and
right.
I have people that send me loops from all over the world. And it's a difference between me just making that beat and sending it out. Like, they're a loop maker. Like, if I wanted to be a beat maker, I would just add drums to it, finish the song completely, put it out. That's being a beat maker. Being a producer is seeing the actual progression of the song from start to finish. I want to know what lyrics you're using. Where are you coming in at the song at? Where's the bridge? Where's the chorus? What's the pre-chorus? How does it end? Is there a switch up? Should there be a feature? Like, it takes so much. It's so much more than just a 4-hour session that you're with an artist. It goes on with text messages and emails consistently. Like, I just got done doing an album for this girl in Miami. We spent 2.5 years on this album.
Oh, shit.
And it comes out finally this summer. You know, and I'm just like, it takes time.
Yeah.
You know, I don't live in Miami, so I had to do everything via email and Zoom and Skype and all that stuff. So
the people that are stuck between this are stuck on the fence between being a beat maker and wanting to be a producer. How can they get started? How can they get educated? Where's a good place to start for them to start to get their toes wet of being a producer? I'd
really hone in on like I start to watch some of my favorite producers in the game. Like, you got to have somebody to lean off of. Like, I was fortunate enough to find my favorite producers early. Pharrell's, Timberland's, Just Blaze, Rick Rubin is a really beautiful.
Shout out to Rick Rubin. I've said his name multiple times.
It is a beautiful way to explain what a producer does. Rick Rubin gets paid what he gets paid to sit in a room and make sure your song is well versed and well educated. That's what a producer's doing. He might not even touch the beat.
Yeah, he might not do nothing. He might not lift a finger.
Rubin, but when he does, maybe don't. I'm not trying to downgrade Rubin's career.
No,
Rubin is one of my favorite. I don't think that I would cross genre the way I do without the likes of Rick Rubin and Pharrell in my life. I don't think I would. You know, they weren't afraid to go places. What Rubin did with Chili Peppers and Beastie Boys early on, and the conversion rate of what rock to rap to funk was. I mean, and the list goes on and on and on. Why do you think, you know, the likes of guys like Mac Miller, you know, and all those guys like that gravitate toward Rick Rubin, you know, because Ocean, it's like he is that Frank Ocean. Yeah. Perfect example. One of the most, Frank, I could go on for hours about Frank and his business models and stuff.
Friends. I knew it.
Yeah.
Because that's one of my
big fan of Frank as a human,
yes,
as a musician, and as a businessman.
It's funny, like, because I feel the same way about Rick, where I'm like, I'm a fan of him from what he's created. I'm a fan
Def Jam world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, co-creator of Def Jam.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of him as a human being. He's literally like a fucking artistic monk. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think I've met or have experienced anybody more pure. I've never met him, but you know what I mean?
So yeah, I would cling on to what you see from other people. YouTube is a beautiful thing and it's free, people. Start doing we don't have to read books anymore if you don't want to, or if you are a novel reader and you like to read, go pick up a book and go back to early ages of old magazines and stuff like that and start reading articles. But you got to do your research on people and find your lane between your research. This industry is just like school. You have to educate yourself.
Go down the YouTube rabbit hole. It's a good thing.
I do it nightly. I'm never going to stop learning.
Yeah.
I literally am on YouTube every night.
And that's a big thing, I think. I love that. It's huge because I think a lot of creatives, you know, they get on here, we talk about how we didn't go to college or we didn't do this and that, but not to negate the fact that you need to learn. You know, you need to keep growing your mental capacities to be the best that you can be at whatever you want to do. And if you're not doing that, then you're going to fall behind.
Don't make excuses. Get going.
That's it. But do the work. Like we said before, like Kim Kardashian said, I'll say it again. You love that shit, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
Well, shit, that's pretty good with the questions that we got. I guess we got to roll right into the most important questions from the audience.
Oh, wow.
We always do appreciate you guys reaching out, and we got some pretty spicy ones. So
I've been waiting. Ever since you told me there were some questions, I was like, okay, don't tell me now. I want to know.
Yeah, I don't know if they're spicy. Are they spicy? Go ahead.
What's the first one?
So I got, were you ever discouraged, and how did it affect your creativity?
I like that question, actually.
Oh, wow.
It's really good.
Yeah, going back to what we talked about with that record with Indie's Walls, when I was told that it wasn't coming out. I mean, dude, we were 2 weeks away from the record pretty much. I think it was like a week into submissions or like 2 weeks before submissions or whatever. I was right on the deadline. And talk about a life-changing moment at an early spot. You know, I wouldn't say fully discouraged. I would say I was more like, damn, well, maybe it wasn't meant to be. Cool. You know,
no bitterness.
No, hell no. The ride is the ride, you know.
Okay.
It's just what it is, you know. But I would say that knowing that it's going someplace and then have it not happen last minute was kind of like
discouraging.
Shit, man. Well, maybe I'll get there one day, you know. But it was, like I said, I was humbled to even be in the situation of what it was, and that was that. But other than that, discouragement. What was the rest of the question? It was being discouraged.
How did it affect your creativity?
I mean, if with anything in mental health and everything, with what's going on in the world recently, and people being more vocal about mental health, I would say, you know, you can get discouraged by anything. I could get discouraged by my song not making it, or my computer failing to mid-session, or whatever it is. Like, it could be anything, you know, a family member, a loved one, you know, getting hurt or whatever. It gets in your head. You got to have a clear head to do this. there's producers that can work through the pain and and some of my favorite work is work through some dark times, but it's hard. Yeah. It's harder to work through a clouded mind than it is obviously with a free spacing. And now that I don't smoke, I don't do any drugs. I'm about 4 years sober, 4.5 years sober off of marijuana and all drugs.
Congratulations.
Yeah, man. I am finding the natural high in music again, and because there is a high there when you're not masking it, and I'm not taking away from anybody who uses medicine in that way. I'm just saying for me, it wasn't for me, and I didn't know that until I walked away from it. So I say that with saying that I'm very much in my feels. I know I'm in my...
You tapped in with your emotions.
I am. I'm very tapped into my aura. I'm tapped in with what life really is.
It's funny because I feel like that that comes across with you. I feel like just the way you present yourself, the way you speak. I feel like I'm speaking to somebody who's very in tune with who they are.
Nothing changed from the moment that camera was off to on.
No.
Word. And honestly, it's no gimmick. It's just, I literally, it takes a lot of time though. You got to put time into yourself. And I express that to people, like, instead of worrying about the negatives and worrying about your view count or worrying about your like count, put some time into yourself away from the virtual world and explore your mind, and you could do that without taking psychedelics or taking, medicine for it. I have anxiety and depression just like everybody else. I take pills for anxiety and depression daily. I'll openly say that, and not many people know that about me, but it's an even balance in life. Those pills help me find clarity in other things. I'm not dependent on them. Mm-hmm. I take them so that I feel okay and I can work through my shit, and I feel like a lot of people should do that more. So to answer your question, I mean, working through the fog and working through discouragement, and that discouragement could come from anywhere. It's tough. And I just would say to people to keep working through it,
Oh, thank you for that.
Whoever said that was a great question. I don't know who said that, but that was a great question.
Assholes kept doing anonymous, so we just got rid of the ads.
I'm cool with anonymous.
Yeah, we just keep it anonymous.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
I like it these days.
Yeah.
Number 2, which I thought was really interesting because obviously this person knows you personally from what I gathered.
Okay.
Question 2. Sources say you're good at baseball. Why'd you put down the bat for the drumsticks?
Someone really does know me. So for those who didn't know, I played baseball almost my whole life. I was, I would say, pretty good at it. Again, I tried out for the majors when I was in high school. I tried out for the Braves and the Mariners while still in my junior year.
In high school?
What position?
Catcher. I didn't make it, but I went to the tryout and I tried it. And
wow.
Glad you say you did it.
Just my mom pushed me. She knew I was good at it. I played it in the South Euclid Lyndhurst circuit of all the way up to the Ponies, and then played in middle school, played in high school. And I played collegiate ball at Lake Erie College.
Okay.
And then just put it down. I partied a little bit too much. The classic story of the guy who goes off in the world and fucks it up. I didn't really fully fuck it up, but I did find other things in my life that I was happy with other than baseball, which was kind of cool. And being on your own for the first time, in a well, like I told you guys, my mom passed when I was 18. So that was my senior year of high school. So that whole conversion of life with a conversion of life of what it is being a senior to the real world all happened at once.
Yeah, you got to grow up.
Yeah, really quickly. For sure. So I was using my freedom as an outlet to party and mask all the stuff. So
anyone that's an athlete and is going to college, there's one thing I'll never forget. I'm at nationals wrestling in high school, and one of the college coaches comes up to me, asks me my grades, what I want to do. He goes, "Listen, there's 3 things you're going to be offered when you become a college athlete: athletics, academics, and a social life. You can only have 2. If you try to balance the 3, you will fall apart." Wow. I'll never forget. As soon as he says this, there's like a few weeks later that this UPenn swimmer story literally came out on how she tried balancing all 3, ended up jumping off a parking garage and killing herself.
Wow.
And personally, I've gone through that experience, and I was like, I can fucking handle this. I can still balance.
It's rough, man.
Grades plummeted like a motherfucker.
Yeah, man.
Had to stay after do study tables, and then eventually, just like the love for wrestling fell away, and I was like, okay, I like the social life, and I like the academics, and you gotta sacrifice the one.
Interesting you say that. Did you feel like you fell out of love with baseball?
Yeah, because it was a lot of pressure on it at a collegiate level to the point where my heart wasn't in it. You know, I think with baseball was my connection with my mother, and when I lost my mother,
it was hard to keep. Yeah,
I sort of lost, situations with myself. So I kind of was like, all right, well, how do I maneuver through this? And it wasn't there. It's different. She never missed a game, never nothing like that. And then you go into your senior year of high school and she's not there. Yeah, and it's like, shit,
Dude, I talk about this all the time with even the little kids I train. I was like, look, you can love what you do. You can love the grind, bloody faces, black eyes, all of that. But like what's truly behind the scenes, your support system can take you so much farther. Because when you believe in yourself, you can achieve almost anything. But when people believe in you, nothing's impossible.
Facts.
And because when you fall, which will happen, everybody trips.
Hell
Who's
yeah.
picking you up?
Hell yeah.
Eventually you get fucked. There's no rope to grab. There's no fucking rail.
Yeah.
And you're gonna sit there and be like, oh shit.
Yeah. And that's what happened to me. And when I lost baseball and lost my scholarship and moved home and got a job, I worked at Menor Mall and I did all this stuff that was just, all right, I'm back to the grind and this is what it is. This is what life's going to be. I picked up the drums and I formed a band and the rest is history. That's it. That's
God
it.
had a plan
Jinx,
for you,
yeah.
dude.
Shout out that band though. That band taught me a lot. I used to be in a band called the Manhattan Scene.
The Manhattan Scene.
And,
what kind of music?
It was like some like Maroon 5, upbeat. It was like Bruno Mars before he dropped Uptown Funk, or like when he dropped Uptown Funk. But we did that years before,
like that sound.
Yeah, it's like how that is. That's how the whole band was. But that band taught me a lot. So to answer the question, that was a great question. Whoever that said that definitely does know me. It was a forced transition on myself that my heart wasn't in baseball anymore, and I found it in music again. And thank God it did, because that's what it is. I have friends that are in the MLB still to this day, and I wish I was on that field all the time.
Dude, baseball's my favorite fucking sport.
Man.
Honestly,
I went to like 6 games last year. The 16-inning Twins game. We were at the Yankees game, and we're buying tickets to the first Monday night Yankee series game.
Yes, sir.
The Yankees.
Yes, sir. I'll be there.
But it's like baseball's one of those sports that's so fucking electric. When
really
when ball hits bat or bat hits ball, it's like we don't have to wait for a touchdown. We don't have to wait for a big pass or a goal.
Well, we're fortunate enough in Cleveland to have like very authentic fans.
Oh yeah.
That there's not many play. I've been to a lot of stadiums around the world in all different sports. Other than the Bills in football, I don't think there's another group of people that can come together at a stadium that are as electric as anything Cleveland based.
But it also has its toxic traits, because we want fucking excellence.
We're crazy.
But it's like, if you're the one that does it for Cleveland, you can get a fucking statue. You'll never have to work a day in your life. Fucking Bernie Kosar didn't even take us to a goddamn Super Bowl, and he still like doesn't have to do anything. Just a spokesperson for Cleveland. Yeah, we love Bernie.
Yeah. I was at that Yankee series though. You saw that post on my page.
Yeah. Dude,
yeah, the fight that happened.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
We were right over. We were in that bleacher section.
And
we
the bleachers,
just a little bit over.
That's where my season tickets are with my family.
There's just screaming at fucking Bader in the fucking outfield.
He's the worst heckler at every game.
Dude, I feel like you have some heckler in you.
Dude, I just love it.
You come from a sports background as well, and I think there's a drive that's in us as being an athlete that is different than a normal fan.
There's some shit talk swag to it. And it's like some people just aren't good at opening their mouth because you can sound real stupid.
I do it now because now on my release, I've actually picked up the bat recently, and I'm playing softball now, and I still get my rocks off on what baseball is, outside of going to the games.
All my friends want to sign up for a softball league, and I'm like, it's all fun and games until you fucking play like the firefighters and the policemen who take it really serious, and we're just being jackasses.
I was in a softball game against the, I think it was EMS, Cleveland EMS or Cleveland Police. I forget which one it was, but I was on Team Ilthy recently last summer.
Shout out to Ilthy. Glenn, come on the show. You're friends with Glenn?
Yeah, I love Glenn. I love Glenn. I love Kumar.
The last
I
couple,
love all of Ilfty.
Last couple of episodes, like we had Bobby on, we had Malcolm the car.
I love Bobby.
Everybody knows Glenn.
Bobby fucked with him. He goes, "You want me to call? You want me to
He
call
is,
him right
like,
now?"
I'll
Just-
text him
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, listen, like I'm such a big fan of him. I don't understand. Like,
Glenn is one of those humans that never changed up.
Like he is reminiscent to Rick Rubin. Glenn, please.
Glenn's a good dude, solid guy all the way through. Never had anything bad to say about him. That's my guy.
I love that.
Yeah, fellow creative.
Yes, dude, that's the guy. Anyway,
yeah,
awesome. Well, I think
clean as shit.
I feel like the next question kind of got answered, but it was, what kind of jobs did you work before your career took off?
You said,
I have some other ones that are like my first real job was a lifeguard. I was a lifeguard for a very long time in the summers.
Every kid wanted that job back.
Bro,
in the summer.
they had to kick me out. Like I kept coming back every year. I was like, yo. Eventually, I think I was like 22.
Like,
when they cut you off at like 18, it's like I came back at 22. I was like, senior, I'm here. This is what we do here, But yeah, shout out Purvis Park Pool. That was my first job. My guy who got me that job, the head lifeguard guy, recently passed away this year. His name was Ray, and I hope they named the pool after him because he was a solid dude. Very important in a lot of people's lives. I worked as a patient transport carrier at a hospital. Shout out University Hospitals. I transferred people from the OR, the operating rooms, to the ICU departments, intensive cares. So I did that for a year and a half. I worked at several clothing stores. Oh man, what else? Fast food.
Everybody's got to be a dishwasher. I feel
I
like.
love
Yeah,
that.
I worked at Scalpers. We were talking about Scalpers.
Yeah.
From
Shout out to
Mayfield.
Scalpers.
Shout out Scalpers.
Great wings.
Them
man.
wings is crazy. What to say, boy.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you guys right now, that's the best wings in the city.
Them wings,
Anybody
crazy.
can fight me on that. We could do a taste test. Shout out Frank. Shout out Chef Dom C. Out back there in the kitchen. I'm telling you,
They do their thing.
they said it. I'm piggybacking off what they
wings
said.
are my favorite food.
They didn't pay us for this. This is real shit.
What bar do you fucking know has a whole little separate store just for food?
Yes.
Dude, like, come on, man.
So dang. Love
But I worked there. I ran that kitchen. He had another place called Spectators in Chesterland. I worked there too, and just work odds and ends, man. I worked at a Guitar Center. That was my last job before I went on tour. Was Guitar Center.
Dude, who the hell was talking to us last time that they found their guitarist in Guitar Center?
Yeah, it happens a lot more than you think.
Yeah, Vince was saying that.
Yeah.
Vince is literally.
Vince worked at his guitar player Artie.
Yeah.
Worked at the Guitar Center in Mayfield. Yeah.
Which is no longer there.
It's in Golden Gate.
Yeah, just roll past it. Yeah, it's in Golden Gate.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
It's in Golden Gate.
Guitar Center was like the one place where if kids couldn't afford all the instruments, they could go and nobody would bat an eye.
We used to spend hours.
Play and turn up.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Until they kick us out.
But yeah, that was the gist of the normal day life, day jobs.
That's just the highlight. Like, you gotta fund the dream, however you can. Like, stay focused on whatever the big idea is. Don't let your ideas die. I always tell people that. Like, your only job as a creative is to not let your ideas die. Water the plants. If you got come back to it, even if you got to work that 9 to 5, come back to that thing that that's keeping you alive. Really.
Yeah. Agreed.
And that means sacrificing sleep. That's a big
not
thing.
Not always, but I'm not advocating that. I'm not just saying.
You speak on it. Like, did you have to have sleepless nights when you were kind of making your way, or were you still able to get into a good routine?
Hell yeah, bro. My first tour, when I got that job with them, with Machine Gun Kelly, when I got that stage manager job, dude, I slept in the back of the bus my first tour. I didn't even have a bunk. I slept in the room in the back lounge. Like, I put a pillow up when everybody would go to bed. I would.
There's a bigger picture, though. You
got to pay your dues, man. I never once really complained about it. You got to pay your dues, and that's just what it is. And then when we got to Europe, that first run in Europe, I got a bunk. It happened like that. But I never complained. I'm always down to put the work in. You just got to sacrifice, man. And when I brought that up to say sleepless hours are a real thing, with the job that I had with them at that point, you're up at 9 a.m., but I'm not going to bed until the party ends. 3 a.m., 3:30. You know, and that's if you can go to sleep right when you are. You know, everyone lays on their phone or lays down for a little bit and decompresses.
Well,
so maybe I was running off 4 hours of sleep for, 6 weeks, 7 weeks at a time?
God damn.
It changes you, man. It's a beautiful thing, though. Like, when you figure it out and you get used to it, I wish everybody in this world could go on some sort of tour or figure out life through the road. And I'm very blessed to have figured out that journey, man. I really am. Those guys are still my brothers to this day, and I thank them all the time, you know. And it's honest. Like, I learned a lot about myself on the road.
We'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
We'll roll on to our general question.
Yeah, what's up?
So, general question, just for everybody, for all of us.
Mind if I get some water first?
Of course.
Just go for it.
Hydrate.
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
We're at the We Important Podcast. You know, the Earth is 75% water.
This is the We Hydrate podcast now.
We hydrate.
Yes.
God, he just rebranded us.
Agua.
That's it. Agua.
We're going to run up the numbers. Our general question, is creativity a part of human nature, or is it something that must be learned and nurtured? What do you think, Harry? Let's go with you.
I'm going to let Harry go first on this one.
So I'm a man of faith. I think it's human nature. Like, one thing I was actually going to point out earlier is you have this sparkle in your eye.
Yeah.
And it's something you only see from CEOs, millionaires, certain crazy people. They have that twinkle in their eye because they have a one-of-one mind. And dude, there's so many people. They're good people. They're great people. They have explosive personalities. But, like, the people that I know have this crazy drive, have this crazy thought process, are going to do things that are unorthodox. They have that little sparkle. And I notice it from people to people. You can just see it in them. Even when maybe lights dim for them, the sparkle's still fucking there. It just never goes away. They got that crazy fucking look in their eyes when they're invested into something. And you know, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, you're never going to be able to steer them off the path. So I do think it's human nature.
I love that. I like that.
Can't be learned, man. I'm sorry.
Piggyback off that. Yeah, I would say the same thing. There has to be some sort of something in you, creative, in order for you to want to venture into being a creative. But as far as learning how to do it, you still got to learn. You still got to master your craft. So I feel like my answer would be a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, very interesting. I think I'm gonna go with Harry. I think I have a different reason though. I do think creativity is human nature. I think it's hardwired into everybody to create. You know, I'm not super religious at all, as we know on this podcast. But I've heard, and I'm sure a lot of people have, that, in the Christian Bible.
You saying you hate Jesus?
No, not yet.
Me too.
No, I'm kidding. We are made in the image of God. That's a big quote, right? We've heard that, right? Or in the likeness of God or whatever. And I feel like that likeness is not skin color or male or female or build or white, anything like that. You know what I mean? But in the ability to create is the likeness that we share with God. Like that, the creator, the great creator, that's something that we can do. Each of us, women can create other life. I mean, obviously with a partner.
You're saying the way you're wired?
But I'm just saying, I just feel like that's one of the things every human has that in them. Everybody can be a creative, and it is innate. And but I agree with you. You do have to kind of carve out these channels for that to flow, or for it to show. Some people are more outwardly creative. Some people are more inwardly creative.
Yes, that was what I was going to come up with next. Yeah, that's a lot of people do it in their free time. A lot of people do it for different reasons. Yeah,
but I do think everybody has that.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yes,
you guys got some good ones today, man.
Hey, shit. Yeah. That's what we do here.
This is fun. This is one of my favorite podcasts.
You should be thanking the wee-wees, though. That's what we call our
our fans the wee-wees.
The wee-wees?
Yeah, the wee-wees.
Double E's on both wees?
He spelled it with an I one time.
Because we imported
Because I guess, it's an acronym. You like that?
Wow.
Wee-wee. No French.
Wee-wee.
What up? Wait, you got any questions for us?
I've never been asked that.
You don't have to.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, so obviously we talked a little bit off the air, but I would like to know, like, what's the goals? What does We Important look like?
He hates this question. Funny enough.
What does We Important look like in 2024?
Okay, that's a better question.
Season 4. You think?
Well, I guess I gotta take you back to why we even created in the first place.
Yeah,
and it's because we literally just. A lot of people come up to us just because we grew up together. Always our personalities. We could do a comedy show and be handing off the mic, and I believe people would love it. But people was like, "Hey, you should create a podcast." It was one of those things like around the COVID time that everyone was just kind of doing. They were blowing up, and we had the idea before COVID. We were sitting on it. We had different groups. Originally, he just wanted to sit back and be like the engineer behind all of it. He didn't want a mic. Yeah. I personally was like, I don't know if I want to do this idea if Quentin's not involved. And a few other people had their hands in the pot. And then one day we're just bored. We're like, okay, let's buy all the equipment and just lay it down. And then from there, like the rest was history. And our friends would be like, what's the goal? What are you trying to do here? And it's like, we're literally just, we've talked to Schiff about this too. It's big on the word consistency. Yeah. We're literally like, hey, we don't have an amount of viewers. We don't want to get paid dollars. We just literally want to lay down an episode as consistently every week, as long as we can until we have it
figured out.
Yeah.
And like each episode, we fucking learn something new. And that's what I think's so beautiful about it. Because like you were talking about going from sleeping on the back of the bus to getting your bunk. It's like we started at the lowest of a low, which is no viewers to begin with. Until we're getting 1, we're getting 10, we're getting 100. And it's like everything's just a step up. Because we started at the bottom and like you're just moving up. And it feels fucking awesome. So I guess with 2024, our goal is to just keep creating content and being us. I don't like when certain people are reaching out to us. I'll give you money to be on your episode, or
we don't do that.
It's not a PR outlet. That actually goes into my next question for you guys. How did you find me?
I'm from Clee.
I'm from Cleveland.
Because dude,
that's another thing.
Originally, we were going through everybody we followed, and we'd go to their followers, and we were sitting there for hours and hours. We'd literally have a whole spreadsheet of just everyone
of our network,
how to get in contact,
and
numbers,
you just DM
emails.
Them. You just DM them, like, hey, are you interested? Hey,
6 degrees of separation. You kind of know everybody in a way. There's a mutual, like we know your cousins. We went to school with them. You know what I mean?
Ricky and Marissa.
Yeah, exactly.
Cleveland. Yeah. Everyone knows everyone in a way. And like somebody put it to me, if you went out every single night in Cleveland, by the end of the year, you'll have met everyone. You just have ran into people. And if you're...
And it's like probably the reason why I don't go out anymore.
Hey, it's safe. It's safe not to go out. Stay inside, people. It's hard out
here.
Like
networking's huge. So like another thing we did was like when we had certain guests on, they were super genuine, super nice, invite us to their shows. And it didn't matter if it was Tuesday at fucking midnight. Like... Yeah. You gave us your time, we're gonna give you our time, and those things paid off where they go like, hey, these are my buddies, they're artists, they're creatives,
come backstage,
and next thing you know, we're chatting it up, and then I had to learn like, I need an elevator pitch. I'm a public communication major from Kent. I've given speeches to hundreds to 1,000 people, but the elevator pitch, I didn't realize like, oh shit, like I got 30 seconds, get their attention, sell it. But like I was like, fuck, am I draining this? Why am I trying to sell my podcast? Because I don't want to do it for business. I want to do it out of the pure love of it. But as things have started to pick up, if things have gotten momentum, the business aspects now come out to it. And I won't say we're not ready for it, but like it's here.
Can I touch on that real quick?
Please.
When you guys asked me what it looked like to my upbringing and like the risks I took and going to shows and networking, it's exactly what you guys are doing right now. So just putting it out there.
I love that.
That's exactly what I did. Yeah. That's exactly what you're doing right now in the new way of doing it, of what the world is.
Okay.
Keep doing what you're doing.
We love it.
It'll work.
We love validation on the We Import podcast.
It's just the easiest way to answer it with like you guys are there.
I love that.
That's what it is. After hearing that and a little talking outside the camera.
And then
you're there.
What we kind of we touched on outside, just to go back off to the question of like why we even started. We talk about like the crabs in the bucket mentality. Every creative in Cleveland, at this point, you guys should know that terminology. You should know what that means, because we have this idea that there's a golden ticket and that there's only one of them and that we got to fight over it and we can't collab and we can't be supportive of each other because it's ego shit.
Doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Help everybody. Help your peers. Help your friends. It takes 2 seconds to like somebody's post. It takes 2 seconds to comment on it. It takes less than that to share somebody. Do it. Help people out. Stop being a gatekeeper.
Exactly.
Do your due diligence, and let's bring this city to something else.
And it's fun. This is funny for so many reasons. So one, that's kind of how we even got here to you, because we're thinking about that type of shit. Mm-hmm. We're thinking about Cleveland. We're thinking about the creatives. That's the people we have on. That's our demographic. That's where the fuck we're at. You know. So we're trying to put on for the city in a new way, in a different, just hey, we've been here the whole time. We're important. Mm-hmm. Cleveland's been here the whole time. We're important. Mm-hmm. All these people have been here the whole time doing what the fuck they're doing.
I love the name.
And they're important.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And while you're on it, we also are looking for important women this season, because I feel like a lot of girls don't get the outlet.
Oh my God.
Like, they just don't
I'll
get
send
it,
you
man.
guys a couple. I have a couple that
please.
you guys would really.
Everybody.
Because it's
that.
fucking empowering, man.
It is. And then also, Harry's laughing, just to get candid a little bit. Harry's laughing at me while you're saying that. It only takes 2 seconds to like this or that.
I'm sick of people being too cool, bro.
For sure. And
I'm sick of it.
He's laughing because we have this podcast, obviously. And we have friends who started a podcast recently. Shout out to Jason Zach, Jake Steffens. They have the Wit and Wisdom podcast. Mm-hmm. They just started recently. And, I mean, behind the scenes, me and Harry would talk off camera about kind of what we think, not necessarily what we think about the podcast, but like, how just us being real about how uncomfortable it can be when you're in a lane and you feel like it's becoming crowded. Mm-hmm. And that is just uncomfortable. And I think if I'm being honest and I can be candid about it, it's not, I don't want it to come off egotistical. That's never what it is. Okay. And it's never that I'm unsupportive, but I do see, when I see things like that, sometimes it feels a little invalidating of what you've done. Like you talked about earlier, like people kind of, once you got into a style or you figured out a formula, like, and you saw it be replicated. Mm-hmm. And yes, that's the greatest form of flattery. Mm-hmm. It's also, that's a ding in the armor a little bit.
Listen, my day ones can contest to this, and there's been situations where I felt like I've done a lot of things first. Yeah. In my life, and this is non-music related stuff, and mm-hmm. and music related stuff. There's some things that I had ideas for that I never got claimed for, and it happens. My biggest thing, and I wanted to touch on this because we touched on it for a second a couple minutes ago. That too cool for school shit, mm-hmm. like, dude, the only way this city wins, and this is why I'm working with I'm from Cleveland, on that as well, on the music department and other things with them. It's to bring light back to the city, like showcase a bunch of people, and help spread knowledge about what it takes to do this as a full-time gig for the people who want to do it, or where do you go to get your music in sync libraries, or where do you go? How do you set up publishing? How do you, like, there's things that people just don't know or even can't think to fathom, because a lot of people's general consensus of what it takes to do a record is you have a record, you put it out, and it magically blows up overnight. They don't know about the marketing behind it. They don't know about royalty splits. They don't know about any of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So when I'm saying that, it's all about, don't be too cool for somebody else. Like, there's people that I don't fuck with, that if I don't like your post, it's probably because I didn't see it, or B, I didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it comes down to, like, I don't follow anybody I don't fuck with. Okay. I'll put it that way. I feel like a lot of people should do that. That fake friend shit, all that shit's played out. Like, if you don't fuck with somebody, don't follow them.
Right. What about following that hot girl you met once?
I give it a 3 DM rule. If I DM you 3 times and I don't get anything but a heart or whatever it is,
it ain't worth
I'm
it.
chalking it.
I like that.
I'm chalking it.
That's worse to live by.
I don't have, life's too short, man. We don't have time for all that shit. Like,
facts.
Some of these girls are wild these days, but go
That's
get
true.
your money, boo boo.
That's right.
Get your money.
I feel good about what we got off our chest today.
I love it. I feel like I just exhaled.
Yeah. For the people hustling for love, you can marry more money in one day than you can make in a lifetime.
Where you going with this, man? Where you get this advice from?
Wow.
My mom.
Says it all.
My parents are divorced, so if that gives you any a little bit more of a clue. Yeah, fucked up.
Yeah. And life isn't always what it seems. Your perception on life may change halfway through life.
It will, and I think that's another thing. That's why we want to commit to being honest here, because I mean I'm a person, and sometimes I feel a way, and it's not definitively like that's me. You can't define me as how I felt yesterday. You know what I mean? That's not me forever. That's how I was yesterday. For whatever reason, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
So
it happens.
there's nothing I can look at you and be like, that's forever.
I mean, the black is forever. It's not going. I've tried. Trust me. I've tried. I needed a loan a couple years ago, and I scrubbed, and it just did not go nowhere. So,
would you ever bleach your skin?
No,
just to get
absolutely
a shade lighter?
not. No, I love me. I think I got a great complexion.
Yeah, it's like you plus you equals me, and that's how we are all in line right now.
I call myself creamy.
It's
nice ginger in me.
I'm peanut butter colored.
You are.
I am.
You are.
I look like a Chipotle bag.
Oh shit,
You
dude.
look like a Chipotle bag. I look like a wet Chipotle bag. It's a little damper.
This was fun, man. I appreciate you guys having me on.
We appreciate you being here.
Always. And as always, thanks for listening, Wee-Wees. For the people, real quick, how can they get in contact? How can they stay in touch? What's going on with you?
Some cool stuff coming up this year. You could keep in touch with me on Instagram, Wavy Duder, Twitter, Wavy Duder, Facebook or Meta, Wavy Duder, and wavyduder.com. And there's some cool stuff coming up this year. I can't say what. Well, I did a song for a Netflix movie that comes out in fall.
Very dope.
It's actually the song that's going to be on the trailer.
Ooh.
Which I'm stoked about. And then some other sync licensing stuff for this year.
Which is huge. And I suggest everybody try to get into that bag. Like, that's
Yeah,
huge.
I just recently fell into it this year. Shout out my management. Shout out my peers, people who, aren't afraid to put other people on. Don't be that guy that you're afraid to put people on. You should want to put your peers on. But yeah, there's some cool stuff coming. A lot of records coming. Big records are coming. I can't talk about most of it, but there's some cool stuff coming.
So stay tuned. Keep your eyes open.
Lock in with my boys here.
Wavy Duder, you already know what the fuck is going on
here.
Wavy, we got like two more things that you gotta do. One more thing.
Okay, what do you got?
The fucking most important words to live by, which is your fortune cookie moment. Look at that young Wavy out there, young you.
Crack open that cookie.
What is that piece of advice that's gonna take him to the next level that he needs to hear? That thing when he's feeling uninspired and shit, and he comes across this random sentence.
Don't take life so serious.
Interesting.
Simple as
I'm
that.
getting Joker vibes, but I like it.
It's the truth.
Why so serious?
There's a lot of consensus behind it, but long story short, it's just, there's gonna be ups, there's gonna be downs, there's gonna be frustration, there's gonna be happiness. Ride the ride.
Ride the
You've
ride.
been
Best
saying
thing
it
you can
all
do.
along. You're just
ride the ride.
Put your hands up and scream.
That's it.
That's it, baby.
That's it.
And smile a little bit more. As for us, the We Important Podcast, me and Harry, what do we got coming up?
So as always tap into our YouTube. Make sure you subscribe if you're watching this video down below if you haven't already.
Smash that like button.
Tune into Spotify, iTunes. I mean, we're coming out on everything here, man. We're trying to really push some stuff to you guys here.
Yeah, and we want to know what we can be. What do you want to see?
Like our fucking shit, man. I hate the people that fucking view it. I'll be like, well, DM me. Oh, that's great stuff. But I'll look. There's no fucking like.
He's checking. He's got all the receipts.
I'm like
He's
a
on
little
your ass
white
about
whore. The likes matter to me.
Okay. Anyway.
If they get to 1,000 likes in the first 2 weeks of this dropping out, I will give a free beat to a random subscriber.
Y'all heard that? You got to do what you got to do. Like.
That's it.
Comment. Subscribe. Follow Wavy Duder.
And we'll do like an Instagram live together. And we'll pick a winner.
And I hope that it's somebody fire.
and you go on the beat, and you could have it. Just
And
trying to help out my people.
Quentin
We love
makes
that.
music too.
Could work out. Quentin could win it. Don't let Quentin win it though.
I'm liking it. I'm gonna be the first like. Fuck all of y'all. We just still gotta get to 1,000.
Like, share, and subscribe, my guys.
Run it up.
Anything else for me?
Close us out.
Just close it out. One word. The first word that comes in your fucking mind.
Peace.
Where you been, darling, darling? Where you been, darling, darling? Where you been, darling? We've been holding this moment for you. Where you been, darling, darling? Where you been, darling, darling? Where you been, darling? We've been holding this moment for you. I told you your dreams would come true. I told you your dreams would come true. I told you your dreams would come true. I told you your dreams